What's up guys, it's Ryan and you're watching Ryan Vision. If you haven't already, make sure you like the video and subscribe for more. Also check out projectzj.com. It's a website that I put together. It's got the full collection of Jeep videos. You can search them. Everything's in order from when I got the Jeep in 2011 until now. And it's pretty cool. You can get on there and you can see all the different modifications, get all the technical info on it, part numbers, things like that. Today I want to show you something new on the rear quarter panels. Those of you that have been following the video series probably already noticed I've got some armor now on the rear quarter panels. That's courtesy of my latest sponsor, Vista Fabrication. Check them out at mountainvistafabrication.com. Neil's got some really cool stuff for ZJ specifically. He's got this rear quarter panel armor. This is one version of it. I understand he's working on a second version that has a little more coverage. Also, I'm running his steering box brace. I've been running that for years. It's been awesome, very strong, very sturdy. Haven't had a single issue with it. He just came out with a brand new version of the steering box brace. Yeah, it's out of this world. Make sure you check out the website, mountainvistafabrication.com. You can check out the steering box brace and the rear quarter armor on there. So let's take a little closer look at this armor, and I'm going to go through what all it took to install it, because it does require some drilling in your quarter panels. So let's get right into it. Alright guys, so here's a closer look at that Mountain Vista Fabrication rear quarter panel armor. Let me show you this angle right here to show you what kind of protection it gives you from trees and rocks. You know, if this thing starts leaning, you can see that sticks out well past the door handle. That thing's going to make contact first. It's going to protect that window from breaking, and if a rock hits below that bar, it's going to spread the pressure out. It's not just going to smash some huge dent right in the center of your quarter panel. It's going to spread that pressure out and maybe scratch the armor, and then you can get home and just hit it with some sandpaper and some Rust-Oleum black and you're good to go. So it's really an awesome look. And you can see I'm running the TJ bezel mod. That wasn't a problem. All I had to do, and this is thanks to one of my Instagram followers, he hit me up and gave me a heads up on this. All I had to do was notch the armor. You can see where these 4 screws are. I just made a little like triangular or maybe like a half circle notch in the armor so that the screws could pass through the armor and thread into the original holes I had already drilled in the quarter panel. So no biggie there. And if you're not running the TJ bezel mod, when you do get the rear quarter panel armor, it's a good time to do that mod. That's pretty straightforward. Check out projectzj.com. I've got a full install video of how I did that. And this MVF, again, Mountain Vista Fabrication, that is not a decal. It is actually cut into the armor. I'm not sure how well the camera's catching it, but it's cut into the armor. The cool thing about that is whatever color your Jeep is, it's going to come through there. And you know, I've got a white Jeep, but if I wanted to spray paint that red behind there, or maybe I didn't want to paint it, I want to put some red vinyl or some carbon fiber vinyl, you can really get creative since that's cut open there. And you got 11 bolts. You can see 4 on the back there, and you can see 4 on the bottom here by the little rounded edge. Got 1 in the corner, and then you got 2 hiding behind the bar here. And the best thing to do with that is on the passenger side, I did that side first, and I had my girlfriend mark the holes while I held the armor where I wanted it. So I just kind of lined it up, and you know, the thing you're trying to do is get this door gap pretty even, and then you can see the little bend here. I just kind of lined that up, and then back here too, I just wanted to get it flush along the tail light, flush along the bottom. So once you got it in position right where you want it, just have someone come along with a Sharpie and mark all the holes. Now all of the holes that you can see right now, really straightforward. Just get in there and make a big circle. But these ones, a little trick I learned there was, because this bar is in the way, you can't go straight at it. Have your buddy, you know, mark down this way and then come under here and mark up, and so you end up with 2 dots, a high dot and a low dot. Just split the difference when you do the drilling. And definitely do a pilot hole first, and all that means is just use a small drill bit first, drill your hole, and then use the bigger drill bit. It makes it a lot easier. Don't just get the big drill bit the same size as the bolt and try to, you know, get that to go through your quarter panel. It's a lot easier. Get a small bit, get a pilot hole started, then go to the bigger bit and drill the hole out. I don't remember what size I used, honestly. I just visually matched it up to the bolt. I wanted to use a size that was just bigger than the bolt so the threads wouldn't catch. I could just slide them in real easily. So The driver's side was more difficult. Let me give you a look over at the passenger side, then I'll talk about the actual install. So this one my girlfriend helped me with, and I'd say it took us maybe an hour and a half from start to finish. It was really straightforward. Again, I held it up, she marked the holes, I started drilling it. Drilling didn't take any time at all. You know, you just drop the panel off. Don't try to leave the panel up there while you're drilling it. Mark the holes, get the panel out of the way, drill the pilots, drill the actual holes, and then you're good to go. You know, once you get like I'd say 2 or 3 bolts loosely threaded on, you know, the nuts on the back side, once they're loosely threaded on, this panel will hold itself in place so you can start working on the others. So this one hour, maybe an hour and a half. The reason this one was so quick was because on this side you have this little storage cubby area, and this whole plastic panel comes off real easy. You've got a screw here, and there's a clip either up here or down here, I can't remember, but you'll see it. And then if you take this screw off, or you can even take the whole panel off, there's 4 screws, take that screw off, there's another one hiding right here that's actually attached to this. And then over here there's a little tie down clip that has a screw in it too. Take that screw out, and then this lower panel pulls out from under these upper panels. Same thing back here, it pulls down. You get that whole panel out of your way. And then where that storage cubby is, there's actually a big opening in the sheet metal that lets you get your hands in there. And this side was no problem. I could reach all the nuts. I could get a couple turns on it with a 7/16 wrench. And you are going to want to tighten it from the inside. You can have your helper on the outside tighten it as much as they can with the Allen wrench, but don't depend on them to get it super tight, because you know the bolt's only going to be able to go in so far, and you're going to have to put some turns on the nut on the inside to really torque it down so it's not going to vibrate or loosen or anything like that. Now the driver's side was a different story, especially in my case, because I had an Iron Rock Offroad onboard air compressor actually you know, bolted to a bracket, and the bracket was welded to the unibody structure. So you can see where I actually had to fire up the Sawzall and cut a bracket here and a bracket up here. I really didn't want to do that, but I had no choice, because on that side, taking the plastic panel off, it comes off the same way, pretty much the same way as the passenger side, although you do have these where the factory spare tire was. I think it's an 8mm bolt and another 8mm bolt, so you have to pop those off, but everything else same as the passenger side. So I tried to get under the panel without taking it off and without messing with the air compressor. I just couldn't get my hands where they needed to go, so I got the Sawzall out and chopped that off. Hopefully I'll get it welded back on and wired back up real soon, because I love that thing. I use it all the time. But anyways, once this panel was off, if you check out my Instagram, you'll see a photo. This side looks completely different because it doesn't have that opening for the storage cubby. So there's a lot less room to get your arms into this quarter panel. You got to get a little creative. Some of the harder to reach bolts, what I did was I took a 7/16 wrench, and on the closed end I wrapped tape around the back side of it, and then I could actually stick the nut into the wrench until it made contact with that tape. So basically with one hand, even at an awkward angle, I could get that wrench up in there where it needed to be until I felt the bolt. You know, you're doing it mostly by feel on probably 2, I would say 2 for sure, maybe 3 of these. I couldn't really see, but I could, you know, feel them if I reached around in there, but I couldn't quite get the right angle to just hold the nut with my hand and thread it on the bolt. So again, use that tape trick, stick it onto the wrench itself, get the wrench in there, and then once you feel that you're on the end of the bolt, have your buddy on the outside start rotating that bolt, and you'll feel it catch thread. And if you think it's catching, just slowly try to pull the wrench away, and if it's fighting you, then you know it's threaded. Just have your buddy keep going as far as he can, and if you can at that point before you pull the wrench out, get a couple turns on it, you know, because you're going to have to tighten them from the inside anyways. So that's what I ended up doing. It worked out really well. My neighbor Russell was helping me out with this side, and you know, I just told him, okay, I think we're on, turn as much as you can, and then he'd get to a point where he said, okay, I can't tighten it anymore because it was up flush against the armor. And then at that point I would just get as much of a turn as I could with the 7/16 wrench. And sometimes you could get a half turn at a time, sometimes you could get a 3/4 turn at a time, but some of these you have so little space you might only get a 1/4 turn at a time. But it's okay, just take your time, be patient, it'll all work out. just have your buddy on the outside hold the bolt in place so it's not rotating on you, and then just whatever amount you can turn it, hold on tight to that wrench. You don't want to drop that down the quarter panel, and then just reset it up to a higher point, tighten it down another quarter turn if that's all you got, and just keep going. It won't take that long, and eventually it'll be really tight. And I kept asking Russell, you know, I'm like, how's it looking? How's it looking? Is the armor tight up against the body? And, you know, he'd tell me, no, it's still got a little gap. Keep going. And I'd keep going. And then eventually said, yeah, bro, it's completely tight. And I'm going, well, thank God, because I can't turn it anymore in here, you know. And sometimes you might only have 2 fingers on the wrench and you can't get a whole hand on it. And it's okay. Just get it as tight as you can. It's going to stay on there. Again, you got 11 bolts. So, you know, if you have one that's a little looser than the rest because it was really hard to get to, that's okay. Just do your best. So on this side, I'm not going to lie, I want to say it took, you know, 3.5, maybe 4 hours, but that's including the removal of the air compressor and also the notching that had to be done for the TJ fuel bezel mod. So don't let it discourage you. You know, driver's side's a little more trickier. The driver's side's tricky, okay? The passenger side a lot more straightforward. But if you get up on a Saturday or a Sunday, you're gonna have plenty of time to bust this out without issue. So, you know, couldn't be happier with how these things turned out. They look awesome. Neil, thanks again, buddy. Really appreciate these things. I love them. You do great work. These are an awesome product. I can't wait to test them out on the Rubicon Trail. So, guys, check them out. MountainVistaFabrication.com. Hit up Neil, you know, send him an email, talk to him if you want some different colors on the powder coating, or if you want to do some custom things, like maybe you want to make the hole a different size for the fuel bezel. You know, this guy's making this stuff. He's a fabricator, so he can do that for you. It's not like it's just all, you know, already in a box somewhere waiting to ship out. He's going to make this for you, so if you need a little custom touch, hit him up. I'm sure he can work with you. Again, MountainVistaFabrication.com. Talk to Neil. And that's it for today, guys. Check out ProjectZJ.com. Make sure you like the video and subscribe for more. And again, that ProjectZJ.com website, it's got all the videos, everything that's on YouTube, but the beauty is you can search through it and you can see them in the order that the modifications were done to the Jeep. Alright guys, I'll catch you next time. See ya.